I think the main thing that I, as an artist, or with most musicians that we try to do, is to smash this perception or this notion that it's a rarefied thing, that only the privileged or the educated or someone who has had art education is able to appreciate. Hi, my name is Joshua Tan, and I'm a conductor.
Hi, I'm Yi Wen. I'm the Programs Director of Singapore Chinese Cultural Centre. We reach out to the general public as well as local arts and cultural groups. So for the general public, we hope that SCCC will be a starting point to kickstart anyone's journey of discovering Chinese Singaporean culture. We have chosen to focus on the youth, mainly because we feel that the youth will be the next generation of cultural consumers.
Anyone who has never been to a concert, to me at least, is considered a youth, a beginner. And I particularly like the word that you mentioned, a journey. It's just merely starting them on a journey of self-discovery of any form of art, culture, which is so important.
The main strategy is really to adopt a definition that culture is about daily lives. It's about things that are around us. It's about our food, it's about our fashion, architecture. So it's the world we live in.
One problem is a lot of people have this perception or this misconception that classical music is not easily accessible. If you recall, more than 10 years before, we didn't have much content in terms of the non-traditional forms of concerts. We started doing pop concerts. We started doing movies with orchestra, with multimedia as well, and it has attracted a different sort of audience. I recall when I was in Sydney doing one of these shows, one of the producers insisted that I meet an audience member. She thanked me for the concert, and she told me because of one of these concerts I started subscribing to the Sydney Symphony Orchestra. And she's never attended a classical music concert before in her life, just merely going to one of these. The main thing is just going in and smashing these misconceptions and providing them with an opportunity to listen to great live music. Because this music speaks to everyone.
I mean, in the content that we present, we can pick an area that is most relatable to the audience. Maybe it's the most unique kind of instrument that is used in a particular concert, or a particular artist that is being featured, and have that focus so that the audience can be lured in to try and find out more. We know that the youth, they are constantly engaged in the online space. So social media is one way to reach out to them. And also, I mean, with the pandemic, it just speeds up the process of us churning out more online content. We try to be creative with even exhibitions that we stage. For instance, Mumu Park is the first Asia's drive-through exhibition based on the Year of the Ox, and also sustainable development. So you have a drive-through and you have oxens being on display, and local artists, there are 8 local artists that are involved in this, and we present their works in augmented reality formats. So it's quite engaging and interactive, and we hope that our younger audience would appreciate that better. Because we are adding on to the experience, so we do not actually lose the original core of audience that we have. We did this Remix Festival, which is a festival for the youth. This is the second time we're doing it. The first time was early 2020, and we had very good response. Last year, we managed to attract more than 10,000 participants. And because of the pandemic, of course, a lot of programs are shifted online. But we also added the new elements of fashion design. So this is what we do specifically for the youth.
Prior to our Christmas concert, they actually had me do a video of something that's totally unrelated to music. You know, like, because one of my hobbies is making coffee, and I'm a huge coffee drinker. You know, it was a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, but it brought me thinking, you know, hey, 20, 30 years ago, before the Esplanade, when we didn't have all these security concerns, I recall going to a concert, and one of the most memorable things was to actually just hang out around the backstage, waiting for the performer to come out and actually interact with them, asking them questions, getting their autographs. And I think this is one thing that we often lose sight of. It's not merely just bringing the music to them. You know, a lot of it is about being part of the community. I think this building of a relationship between the audience and the performer, it has to come from the right place, mainly from the practitioner. But we made it a point to always talk to the audience. So I had to speak to the audience before every single piece, regardless of whether it was an outreach concert or it was a subscription concert or it was a very serious concert. We are always constantly striving to get better and better, that we forget to engage with people in the community. And I think, of course, the organization, whether it's SSO or SCCC or any arts organization, the administration can help by actually encouraging practitioners to somehow go into the community, or organizing events or after concert events. And it's not necessary to talk about what we're doing, but just connecting on a human to human basis.
We try to create that opportunity. I mean, in the pre-COVID situation, it'd be easier, you know, having a post-show dialogue of sorts. And right now, I mean, with restricted audience attendance, what we do is, if we do it as an online live streaming show, we will do the dialogue as a live stream part also. So people can leave comments, you know, through social media, and the host can take up the questions and pose the questions. So that interactivity still maintained. We understand that our target audience, the youth, they want things that are fun, that are relatable, that are interactive. I think that is a very crucial personal touch. You remember the experience better. And things like augmented reality, that has become quite a necessary tool. So we are happy that the artists also continue to develop and learn these new technologies when they work with us.
For me, it just merely amplifies how important that live performances are. And we've taken a lot of these things for granted. I think it's a very good opportunity for us not only to put out online content, but also to think about how we're going to approach live performances. How are we going to approach new audiences? How are we going to engage with them?
There is a higher demand right now for doing live streaming, for instance. So you need the hardware, and there are more production houses handling this part, and it has developed a new industry, so to speak. So the demand has kind of created new opportunities, and this is a good sign because even after the pandemic is over, we will have all this expertise to help us forward the presentation of arts.
From a practitioner's point of view, the most important thing is still the quality of the product. So that cannot be diluted. With certain people, they may feel that, oh, since it's for a kids' concert, you just put in X amount of time, a little bit less time into this, or a little bit less work into this. But they often lose sight of the one important fact. First impressions do matter. And it's the most important because that's your only chance for you to really get them in. Because if you leave a bad taste in their mouth, they're not going to come back for a long time, and you've got to redouble your efforts. So to me, the quality of the product has to remain as high as possible.